So I had this dilemma. I had to start our first podcast of our recent trip to Grand Teton and Yellowstone National Park. So much to choose from. Would I start with a massive bison run in Yellowstone National Park? Hundreds of bison, up to 1,000, running down this two-lane road.
He's not exaggerating.
And it went on for like 45 minutes.
Long enough that I had to get in the back of the van, start cocktail hour.
and take a nap. Yeah, that was incredible.
It was. What about the fishing, though?
Yeah, you did a lot of fly fishing, 10 days in Yellowstone and Grand Teton.
Yep.
I took a lot of pictures, a lot of videos.
A lot.
Yeah. And, I could have started with you catching the fish.
Yeah.
And you gave me the happy dance.
Yeah, always.
So there's the fishing, or we could have started with the hiking. We took a 13-mile hike one day.
Yeah.
A little bit longer than we imagined, with beautiful scenery.
Honestly, it was supposed to be six miles.
All right, could have been the hiking, but it could have been the scenery as well, because the scenery in both parks is amazing, isn't it? From sunrise to sunset and everything in between, it was stellar.
Yeah.
Scenery.
We're a little addicted to it.
But then the opening kind of fell in our laps, and it was obvious what we should start with. And Michelle describes it, well, here, basically in one word.
Mark, there's bears. There's bears. There's bears. Bears. Mark, you have no spray and she has babies. You have no spray. She's coming across the river. She's coming across the river. Let's go.
Well, that was scary, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah. I was petrified. Petrified. I mean, I have to use that word because I couldn't move. Have you ever been so scared that I couldn't process exactly what was happening and I didn't know what to do.
Is that it?
Even if I caught a dozen fish, it wouldn't top what we just saw. So I'm done for a couple of hours because I'm so nervous I can't even enjoy right now. I'm so freaked out. That was the scariest thing I've ever gone through.
And we've practiced this before.
Well, you always think what would happen if you come across, especially a grizzly bear. This happened up in far northeastern Yellowstone National Park in an area called Lamar Valley. They call it the Serengeti of North America because there's so many wild animals. We've been up there for many years and we've seen wolves, bison, lots of bison, otters, eagles, bears, black bears, coyotes,
elk,
antelope, all that stuff. But in this situation, and we carry bear spray. We mentioned that in the video there. We didn't have bear spray. We carry it everywhere except
epic mistake.
This time.
I think I would have felt a little bit more in control if I did have it or you did have it. That's why I was so petrified, because minutes before we had come down, we were in the van, we were getting ready, and we both were like, we don't need our bear spray today. I don't know why we felt so comfortable. My dad says we're starting to feel way too comfortable in the wilderness.
Well, it was a wide open area, and we thought, other places we hike and there's berries. They love berries.
Yeah, we're usually in a forest, like near a river. And even though this was a river, you have to imagine it, and you'll see the pictures. It is wide open, but behind all of that, there is, the forest.
Yeah, when they come down for the water.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's the video of the bears. You actually heard them first, didn't you?
I heard her roaring, not like at me, I don't think. I think what she was doing, because I saw her walk up to the edge of the river. Now, you have to imagine, I fly fish, so I'm in the river. And the only thing I was really worried about when I went down there was this bison behind me, remember?
Yeah, because there are so many bison in Yellowstone. They're
walking alone.
I took by then and after that pictures of thousands of bison.
Yeah.
And there was a bison that was crossing the river. This is the Lamar River. And you said, why are you taking another picture of a bison? You have so many. I said, well, you can never have too many, one more. So, from my viewpoint, I was just starting to take the picture of the bison.
Yeah.
And I heard you yelling at me, Mark. And I couldn't understand what you were saying, but I was thinking in my mind, leave me alone. I'm trying to get this picture of a bison going across the river. But you saw the bear. There was a mama grizzly and 2 cubs, and that's the most dangerous situation.
The most dangerous. And,
Right.
and I knew it. And so I hear her first. So I'm casting. You can imagine I'm casting, and I'm just kind of fishing, and all of a sudden I hear this noise, and I pan to the right, and I see her and the 2 babies, and the babies were kind of messing around and rolling around on the rocks in the water or whatever. I mean, when I say 50 yards away, I am not exaggerating at all.
Right. And they always tell you've got to be at least 100 yards away from bears.
Yeah.
And we were not 100 yards away. And it wasn't our fault at that point.
No, she came up.
Right.
She came out of nowhere, I swear. And so when I heard her, she started pawing at her kids I think she was saying to them, come with me, quit messing around, because she saw me. I have a pole in my hand. I had my big cowboy hat on that day. So thankfully, maybe the cowboy hat was good. I might have looked larger than I am, right? I mean, I don't know. I don't know. All I know is I was petrified.
Right. Because
She could have just ran straight across that river. The rivers there, they're just not very deep.
Yeah, it's probably a foot deep or so.
Yeah,
she could cross that.
She could cross that in a hot minute.
Just like that. So then I was taking a picture or starting to take a video of the bison. I look over reluctantly to see what maybe she's yelling about. And I go, oh my gosh, there's a mama grizzly and her 2 cubs. And I'm thinking, that's way too close.
Yeah.
And I've always thought, what would happen? What would I do in a situation like this? Because I love to take pictures. And what I did was
exactly what you thought you would do.
Not the smartest thing to do. I had one camera that had a short lens on it, and I had my other camera in my backpack that had a long lens. And so I put down one camera, opened up the backpack, which took, maybe about 15, 20 seconds when I should have been retreating.
Right, with me.
And I pulled out the long lens and started taking pictures and videos of the 3 bears. And the difference was maybe I didn't feel so threatened. I never saw the grizzly look at me.
Right. She was not paying attention to you.
Right.
She was walking
If she
away.
would have stopped, turned her head and looked at me,
right,
I probably would have reacted totally different and not gone for the camera. And what?
I doubt it. I doubt it.
I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll never know.
Yeah.
But as you can see in the videos, in the pictures, the 3 of them are kind of walking along the bank on the other side and walking away from us. Mm-hmm. So that's why I kept taking pictures as we were walking away.
So during this time, of course, I'm not paying attention to anything behind me because I'm looking at her and I'm backing out of the water. And I'm yelling at Mark and then, trying to reel in my rod, but I'm not even concerned with it. And when we're all Mark and I end up talking and she's gone, we turn around to look up to where our van is parked, which is, you kind of have to go up to the road.
Yeah.
And there's all these people that stopped their cars that were watching us. And I'm positive they were like, oh, look at those idiots.
Yeah. Or Turons. Turons of Yellowstone.
Yeah. And I mean,
look that one up.
To be honest.
Hopefully we're not on that, or I'm not on that.
Yeah.
So, soon after that, we did a little talk afterwards, and here's what basically you had to say about it.
If I was ever going to have a heart attack, it would be right now. Well, 5 minutes ago. 5 minutes ago, I got my pole out. I'm right here. You can see, clearly you can see that it's like wide open spaces. I'm not really worried about bears. There was one bison behind me.
Yeah, and you said there's a bison, so I got my camera out to get a shot of it. We haven't seen any bison on our trip. No, we've seen thousands of bison. So I thought, well, here's one more shot crossing the river. And then you're yelling at me saying, and I going, let me get the shot of the bison.
No, I want to give you perspective of where I was fishing so that you can see where she came out. We saw a grizzly mama and 2 babies, and I was fishing right here. I'll stand right over here where I'm at. It's awful. I'm so freaked out, like my hands are still trembling. So I'm in the water, right there. And out of nowhere, she comes and starts, I heard her roaring with her kids. She was kind of playing with them, but kind of yelling at them, maybe because she saw me. And then, but she kept coming towards me. And so obviously I ran.
And I had no idea.
You're not supposed to run. And Mark had no idea. I'm yelling at Mark, but he's half deaf.
What?
No, the water, you can't hear. And so
Okay, so
I can barely even tell the story. I'm just freaked out. I'm really freaked out. And I think all those people were watching us thinking.
And we had no idea what was going on yet.
Now,
so you're yelling at me, I want to take a shot of the bison crossing the river. And so then, you know, I look over to my left. Holy crap.
You
There's a bear and
didn't
their
say
2
that.
cubs. Yeah, I mean, that's the sanitized version. So here's my dilemma again. I'm doing a quick calculation.
I'm yelling.
How far away is that? Because you have to be at least 100 yards away. So I'm thinking,
Half a football field only.
no.
It's right there.
No,
She was right there.
okay. Maybe my math isn't that great.
No.
So I put down the camera I'm using, and my telephoto lens is in my backpack.
He's putting all this shit together so he can get a great shot. Did you get a great shot? Did you? You better have. You better have. That's all I have to tell you right now.
You can see.
And I ran out of the way, so I'm not in the shot at all because I'm smart like that. I'm not in the mood to fish anymore. I'm really not.
So, I mean, you weren't going to fish after that?
No.
Not right there?
No. I was done.
You were done?
I was done. I was.
Right.
Yeah.
I can
was
understand
shaken.
that.
I was really shaken.
Right.
You know, I was scared. So, and once you're like scared like that, I was freaked. I was freaked anyways.
Right.
Even the rest of the week, I kept my head moving just to make sure I was safe. And so, anyways.
Yeah. Well, it could have gone south.
Could have gone really bad.
In a hot minute, a hot second.
Yeah.
But it didn't. So fortunate for us. And one thing we learned, first of all, always take bear spray. We've been on hikes before. We've gone a mile, and we go, I forgot the bear spray. Mm-hmm. Do we keep going, or do we backtrack a mile so we lose like 2 miles right there? We go back.
Mm-hmm. I just think we got too comfortable.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So
that was our bear scare for the week. It's not like we haven't seen bears before or grizzlies. We saw a grizzly, at least once up in Glacier a couple of years ago, but that we were inside the van.
Yeah.
Remember?
Yeah. We were close, but we were in the van.
We were probably 10, 15 yards away.
Yeah.
And it was eating berries in a berry coma. And that's the time when we stopped the vehicle, rolled down the windows, taking pictures.
Yeah.
And a woman coming from the other direction
got
out of her car, came up to my window and said, "What are we looking at?" I said, "We're looking at that grizzly bear right there."
Right there.
She ran probably faster than she's ever run before back to her car.
I couldn't believe my eyes. I couldn't.
Right.
Stupid.
And then, of course, we've had also up in Glacier, the black bear that was running towards me
Yeah.
on the road. And I got some pictures of that later. I got chastised by the park ranger, which I always
Trouble.
do. That was a black bear, and then we've seen black bears all over the place.
Yeah. And then, we've been following 399.
Right. Most famous grizzly bear in the world has her own Instagram page, 399 in Grand Teton. We didn't see her this time because she wasn't in, I don't think, Grand Teton. They said she was further south, maybe towards Jackson.
You got to show that shot, though, that we found her last year. We were all alone down this dirt road.
Right.
And then she popped her head out with her cub.
With her last litter.
Yeah,
her
she only
cub.
had one. And it's in these beautiful purple flowers. She's right behind. It's such a cute picture.
We were fortunate there because usually we see her along the road and there are like 100 other vehicles that are stopped, photographers getting out and taking pictures, and we get stuck in that.
She had her own paparazzi
for like 3 hours
for a long time because she had 4 cubs.
Look her up, 399. Yeah. She has her own Instagram page.
There's also that documentary.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
It's good. It's really interesting.
Very good.
I love animals.
So we've seen a lot of bears. We saw some black bears this year down at Moose Wilson Road. So in Grand Teton. So anyway, let's get to the bison run now.
Yeah, that was fun.
Bison are everywhere in both parks. Up there in
Lamar, though,
Lamar Valley,
seemed like
in the far northeastern corner of Yellowstone. They're everywhere. I mean, you have to. You're going along the road, and you can just guess you're going to stop for a bison to either cross in front of you or walk in front of you.
And they take their time.
They take their time. There's one time a bison just was right in front of our van, and I had to follow it.
That windy road.
Right, had to follow it for a couple minutes, and finally he kind of went off, and I went around him there.
Crazy.
But this one time, and we saw it last year as well, a bison run.
Oh, it was crazy.
And all of a sudden, one or two or a few of the bison decide, hey, we're going to run from this end of the valley to this end of the valley.
I have a theory on that. So this was kind of getting to be late in the evening, okay? And we were just driving down the road, and all of a sudden we see one coming. And this was up in the Lamar Valley. And the reason we really started going up there a few years back, is because of the wolves, right? And we stay in a campground where the wolves have their dens. And so they're up there. And my theory is, I think there were some wolves out there. Started the stampede. I swear.
But they do that every year, though. We saw it last year going on the same road just up a little bit where they're doing all that construction. We were stopped there and waited, but nothing like this time.
This was crazy.
It never ended. It went on for like 45 minutes. I didn't count them, but hundreds, obviously.
Yeah, he's not exaggerating.
Maybe 1,000 bison. They kept coming.
We parked the van like everybody else. You just have to do, you're not going anywhere.
No, you have to be patient.
So I just went in the back of the van, made myself my little cocktail hour, and just let him do his thing with pictures, because that's how long it takes most of the time.
And you wonder why I love to take pictures of bison and video bison, because they're everywhere.
Yeah.
Because they're so close, they're so majestic, and they're accessible.
Yeah, Mark thinks they're pretty.
Yeah, well, I mean, they're so ugly that they're...
No, they are. They have their own beauty. I get it. Yeah, I do.
So let's talk about your fly fishing as well. We're going to do separate podcasts on her fly fishing.
Yeah.
So I'll put the link to that up in the corner when we have that done. But you did fly fishing almost every day in both parks, didn't you?
I did. And Mark got tons of footage of me casting. And so I think we're like almost done with our trip. And I said, hey, send me a picture of me, holding a fish, so people could actually see that I catch fish. I don't just cast all day.
You're throwing me under the bus.
Immediately.
Okay.
And so he didn't want to tell me this. So he's waited all this, we were there 10 days. Waited all this time. And finally he said, You're not going to believe it, but I erased those pictures.
Yeah. Well, I'm juggling 4 cameras. I mean, you don't want to hear the excuse, but
You're a
that's what's
professional,
happening.
Mark. I expect a professional. I worked so hard. People are always saying you don't catch any fish, whatever. You know what? When you fly fish, it's damn hard.
See that? It's windy. Oh, fuckers. Fuck. It's bleep, oh bleep, oh bleep. Mark's gonna bleep me out. It's a frustrating sport. It's not my fault.
And I've been teaching myself over the past 5 years because Bradshaw takes me on all these trips and he's doing all his photography. So one day I just said, you know what? I'm going to learn how to fly fish. I've always fished.
Right. She's very good, though.
But I'm getting a lot better.
Right.
And this time I didn't even hire a guide.
Right.
Big ass
And I
mosquitoes.
still caught.
Right. And I love it. And this was you fish the Snake River, Slough Creek, Yellowstone River, Lamar River. These are all fantastic, beautiful rivers. And what was the one? The headwaters of the Snake River. Mm-hmm. You caught a fish there. Look at that. She's right in the middle of the river there in the rapids, the ripples, right there. And I love it when you catch a fish, you do a little happy dance.
Yes. Yes.
I do. I'm sure all the other fishermen love it.
It makes her day. Yeah. But it's interesting. We talk about bears. Ever since that incident, we're always thinking about bears. And I've got...
that was only 3 days into our trip, too.
Right.
Boy, your eyes do play tricks on you.
But I remember one time you said...
like if you look like right over there, that looks like a bear hanging out of the tree right there. I'm serious. Yeah.
I think I saw a bear over there.
I did.
And I go, it's a tree stump.
I heard you.
I was freaking myself out.
It's a tree stump.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's true. I know.
So,
yeah.
And I also love it when you say this is not a catching day, it's a fishing day, sort of like shopping. What's shopping and buying, right?
Yeah. Is it a looking day or is it a buying day?
When you go shopping, is it a shopping day or a buying day? So today is just a shopping day, so no net. This is a fishing day, not a catching
day. You're not
day.
buying anything?
No, I'm not catching right now. I'm fishing. I know you don't understand that.
Let's talk about hiking now. We did this hike. It's called Cascade Canyon. We've done this before. So we're starting our hike today. We're going a little bit around Jenny Lake. Michelle's texting right now. What are you doing?
I'm not texting.
What are you doing?
Facebook.
We have service here. We're going to go up
for a minute.
a ways around Jenny Lake, and then go up to Inspiration Point.
We're going to go make out.
Yeah.
Whoop, whoop.
And then we're going to go up Cascade Canyon. It's going to be a beautiful hike. You ready for it?
It's a hard hike.
You have your bear spray.
There's a reason why I have my bear spray. Bear spray. Bear spray would have come in handy a couple of days ago.
We last time we hiked this, we forgot it. Went about a mile. I thought, do we go the rest of the way without it, or should I go back and get some? We went back and got it. Starting from the north end of Jenny Lake in Grand Teton,
gorgeous.
And we hike maybe 2 miles to from one side to the middle where the lake, where there's a boat dock. You could take a ferry to not have to hike.
Do that, a couple miles.
2 miles, but it's a gorgeous hike.
It's a flower hike. It's easy.
It's great. And then from the boat dock on up to through Cascade Canyon, it's another 4.5, 5 miles, something like that.
Yeah.
And of
so
course,
literally, he lied to me. You lied to me.
Yeah, it turned out to be round trip 13 miles. And the whole time you're thinking of bears as well.
I see lots of berries. Look at berries. That means Barry the bear could be out here. More bear poop.
Go outside. Worst case scenario, a bear kills you. Well, it almost happened last week.
Wasn't wearing the shirt.
You better always wear the shirt.
I should wear the shirt.
So for sure there are bears up there.
Right.
I mean,
They're
there's
up
bears,
there.
especially near
Right.
Jenny Lake.
Right.
Jenny Lake is just known for that. So,
But it was a good hike.
it was a good hike.
I would definitely take that hike, and so many hikes, dozens of hikes
Yeah.
in both national parks there.
Yeah.
The scenery was just fabulous.
It hasn't changed.
The Teton Mountains have not changed in
still
the
there.
last thousands and thousands of years.
Yeah.
They're
So
still
great.
there.
So great. If you've
And-
never been to the Tetons, hands down, it's one of my favorite parks.
You know, and there's so many photo ops there. Whether the Teton, usually the Tetons are in the backdrop
Yeah.
of the photos. Whether you're taking a picture of the famous molten barns, or it could be Schwabacher Landing,
That never gets old.
Oxbow Bend.
Yeah. Yeah. We go down there all the time.
Yeah,
But Schwabacher's, and so just to remind you, when you go down there to see moose.
right.
And you got a great shot a couple years ago
Right.
of a bull moose with his head down in the water, came up and had moss all over his antlers. And then this time, no moose, but I wanted to just kind of check out an area where maybe I could go fishing. I ran into this beaver, and I swear to God,
Yeah, he was good size.
he was huge.
He was.
He was huge.
Yeah. Right.
And,
We followed him for a while
he
as
was
he
so
went down
cute.
the creek.
Yeah, he was a busy little guy.
Yeah, and near Oxbow Bend is Cattleman's
Yeah,
Bridge.
Cattleman's, yeah.
And that's our favorite spot of
We
Grand
make
Teton.
breakfast there, lunch there, dinner there.
Dinner there.
We watch
I mean,
for
you can see
birds.
eagles there, people kayaking and canoeing and floating by, fishing. You can fish there. We've seen the beaver, eagles, osprey, deer, elk.
otters. We saw the otters
Right.
there. Yeah.
Right. So that's a fabulous spot. And then I took a great sunset shot near probably one of the first days we were there. I mean, there was a fire nearby, so that probably lit up the skies,
Yeah.
the clouds a little bit more, and it was just on fire. And then one of the
That
last
was over Jackson Lake.
right, and one of the last mornings I was there. There was a storm coming in, and I got a great shot of the clouds, angry clouds, with a rainbow,
I know. It was pretty.
full rainbow
That was a neat
going
one.
over the Teton Mountains there. Yeah, and then the scenery up in Yellowstone National Park is gorgeous as well. It's totally different. You don't have the big, majestic mountains, but
Right.
you have the valleys up there in Lamar Valley, which, how would you describe Lamar Valley?
It's huge. It's huge. It's just like you had mentioned, it's like the Serengeti of North America. And he's right, because you come over this one hill, right? And it all of a sudden just opens up to the whole valley, and you see the river running through it, and it
and hundreds of bison.
goes on forever.
Right.
And-
And we've seen a grizzly
I was
and,
just gonna
and
talk
a
about that.
bison that were just crossing each other's path.
Right.
And along that Slough Creek road going to our campground, which is a Slough Creek campground, we saw that cinnamon black bear.
Right.
And that's when the coyote was chased the black bear up the tree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I didn't know it, but I talked to the ranger, because she, whenever something like that starts to happen, cars start to stop. And she came around, and I said, "What's the deal with the coyote and the bear?" And she said, "Oh, bears hate coyotes. They're afraid of them."
So, I mean, getting back to the bears there, what's the one thing you learned about your experience with the bears?
Well, I did everything wrong. So petrified, running backwards as fast as I can out of the water. When I wear my gear, I have on full fly fishing gear. So I've got my boots on, my waders, they're very heavy. And so,
Maybe that would protect you against the claws, these 6-inch, 8-inch, 10-inch claws of a grizzly bear. You think it would?
You think? No.
No, not a bit.
And so, that I did everything wrong, but that's not my fault. It's like when we went rafting in Colorado with Tommy, and I fall out of the raft, of course, and they had trained us on what to do, and what did I do?
You panicked.
Everything wrong.
You panicked.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I'm learning that I'm not really like a badass like I think I am.
So I don't think you really, that's a good one. I don't think you really know how you're going to respond until you actually get into a situation.
Right.
And this was a semi
I can guarantee you,
frantic
sure
situation
as shit,
that we were
I would have
in.
ran out of that river, and if she
So they
came
tell
after
you
me.
not to run.
Yeah, I would have run. I would have
And
run.
they tell you not
straight
to put
towards
down
Mark.
one camera and pick up
And
another
past Mark.
camera and start taking pictures of the bear. Okay.
I was so mad.
So she did everything wrong. I
She
did
did everything
everything
wrong.
wrong. We did everything wrong by not bringing bear spray.
Right.
So learn from our mistakes.
I was born up in the mountain, raised by an old grizzly bear. I was born up in the mountain, raised by an old grizzly bear. I was fed by Mother Nature, and I breathe fresh, clean, natural air.